about Bowerman?
Oh, I just want after Portland Track Festival, which Bowerman person are you most concerned about? Jager, who hasn't run a full steeple yet, so we didn't see him here. Shelby Houlihan scratched, Lopez Lomong, or Karissa Schweizer.
That's just wild that this is a segment. Which Bowerman athlete are you most concerned about? How the turntables have turned, as Michael Scott would say. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing now, right? But first of all, I know Jerry's weird with like running, not running, but Shelby was entered and then scratched. Yeah. It's not like she didn't enter and she's just like, oh, okay, why aren't you racing yet? She was entered and scratched. So clearly there's a reason to not run the race. So the question is it a big reason? Like, oh, if I go on a track and try to run 4-minute, 1,500 meter pace, I will break myself. Mm-hmm. Or is it like you have nothing to prove? Even if it's just a little minor thing, it's not worth risking it because you are a veteran, you're race sharp no matter what. You don't need the Portland Track Festival to feel good about yourself. So it could be one or the other. I don't know. I would range that it's not that serious of a reason versus being serious if I had to be a betting man for Shelby. So I'm not really that concerned about Shelby. So my concern on Shelby is like 15% concern. Okay. My Jager concern level, it's at 50% concern, but it will jump to 0% or 100% within the next 7 days. Right? Because he's got to run. He's not in the meet. He's not qualified in the steeple. He doesn't have a mark. So he needs to do something. He needs to go around the track at 3,000 meters long and go do it, So
yeah.
Maybe he's going to have to do one race, right? So I'm at 50% for Jager, where it'll jump to 0 or 100 based on what happens the rest of this week. Schweizer, I'm at 0%.
Listen, I know we started the show talking about how nobody knows the rules to track. Does Jager, the former U.S. champs, get a bye into the U.S. champs every year? Because I know that's been a thing in the past. Does that count in lieu of a trials qualifying standard? Because I'm thinking back to, was it Alan Webb getting into the meet one year and there being quite the hullabaloo? Just something to consider.
Oh, did you see this? This is interesting. What? There's a contingency plan there's a contingency plan for, I mean, we're not going to deal with this, but it looks like U.S. Trials has a contingency plan that I think they're going to select the top 3 on time based on who has just the fastest 3 times if they don't have a trials. I just saw that link.
When was this come up? Just right now?
It was I don't know, but I just thought it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's not happening. We're having the trials, but I think if it gets canceled, I think they're going to select top 3 on time because they have a link on their website called Olympic Trials Contingency Plan, Single Best Performance Rank Order List, which makes sense. I mean, if there's no trials, that's what you do. You just take the 3 fastest times. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out.
Don't worry about it. Let's keep moving here.
Eligibility requirements.
Somebody said, "Don't worry about it. We'll have it for tomorrow's." For tomorrow's show. Someone brought up in the chat that Shelby ran a 350. That the rumor was Shelby ran a 357 time trial. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. We don't know if that's true. She didn't do it in a race though. We should mention there's Bowerman people that are crushing it right now. Right? We talked about Centro, GDS won the 8, went sub 2. She looks really solid. Fisher looks solid. Can I do an NBA comparison? Since Travis isn't on this anymore, to tell us to stop talking about the NBA. Okay. Jager right now is the Lakers as it currently stands. Right? Okay. So we don't know, like missed some time last year because of injuries, and now we're kind of getting down to the wire here. Karissa, so she loses this race, but it was a big time rust buster for her, right? She gets fourth, runs 15 flat. I think she's the Jazz. Has that
Okay.
first game hiccup, but then she's going to show her class when it comes time for the trials. Lomong is the Clippers here. Again,
Ooh, that's not good for
well,
Lomong, but okay.
no, they're doing good. They're doing good now. They tied it up.
They tied it up. Yeah.
Like some load management throughout the year, right? He hasn't been running at all, which makes Shelby the sixth. No, I don't know who that would make Shelby.
It's Shelby.
Oh no. Shelby's the Nets. Just in general, we haven't seen them together.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing
Shelby's
them finally.
Nets.
Or Harden, or that whole group. There you go. That's it.
You know who the Sixers is?
Let's see. Who would the Sixers be?
Is it like Elise Cranny?
Are you gonna say? I thought you were gonna say Centro, but
Centro. No, yeah, Centro.
That's giving the Sixers way too much. That's not giving Centro enough credit. As we should.
Well, Centro. You say right. Brooklyn is Centro. Centro's Brooklyn because they're all coming together. I don't know. Maybe Centro's.
No. Centro's the Bucks. All coming together at the right time, sweeping people. At the right time. My Bucks.
Hey man,
my beloved Milwaukee Bucks. People are like, no, not the Clippers. No, I'm saying this after Game 4. The Clippers are looking good. I'm not trying to jinx Lomong at all. Clippers are now dialed in here, but it took them a little while to get going. Lomong runs. This is we had that weird 2 heat thing. So Fisher and Kincaid are in 1 heat. Lomong wins the other heat in 13:26. He outkicks David Ribich, but we haven't seen Lomong at all.
Yeah.
But we know he's legitimately good. He could be Kawhi. How about not the whole Clippers? Yeah. I don't want to put that on him. Let's just give him Kawhi. So we know what he's capable of, but it's just a matter of him getting out there and doing it.
I just think it's wild. In the year 2021, we just did a 70-minute podcast, and not once was the name Galen Rupp mentioned the entire time. It's crazy. He runs a 10K, runs 28 flat, gets fourth in his heat, and we didn't bring it up once until now. I'm bring it up at the end, but I think it's just kind of wild. I mean, FloTrack for years has been Galen Rupp because he's been the centerpiece of U.S. distance running. But now that he's in a marathon and kind of not racing as often, we only see him once every blue moon. It's kind of wild that he wasn't that Galen Rupp became story number 12 of the weekend. It's kind of wild.
Oh, I don't even know. I should have ranked these. I don't even know if it would have been story number 12 because there's a whole bunch of other. Well, there's a whole bunch of others. We didn't talk about Brazier barely winning the 800.
Well, that's nothing.
We didn't talk.
No, that's not that story. Brazier's gonna win.
Mason Furlick runs 8:18 again. Sisson goes sub 15. Shamir Little 53.12. Shamir Little might win trials.
I'm starting to think that.
Might mess around and get trials. And I mean, I don't know what that'll mean for Tokyo, but she might end up winning. She runs the second best time of her entire career. Muhammad finally debuted, but she ran in the slower section, ran 55.01. So there would have been a bunch of stories above Rupp. I mean, he's a guy running in an event that's not his main event anymore. So
here's the question.
Yes.
He is, I think, ranked 20. So the 10K field is supposed to be 24, right? And I think 25 athletes have the standard of sub 28. Galen Rupp, I think, is ranked 26th right now. But doesn't have the auto. He's just over 28 minutes. Would the U.S. Trials Committee change the rules and let one extra runner in the 10K to get Rupp in the field? And if that does happen, will there be upset people?
Oh, man. I just don't. I don't have the emotional energy for that, and I don't have enough left in the tank after all we've been through the past year. I just want to be happy at trials. Honestly, stuff like that. That's gonna be a thing. I know, and then they're going to interview the person that he pushed out, and we already know all the beats to that story. He's not going to be a factor in the 10K, so it
Well, he wouldn't have
doesn't
to push
matter.
anyone out. He wouldn't have to push anyone out.
Although
He could just be the next one
no,
added.
but no, but then they'll say, why didn't they add this other person?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what will
yeah.
happen. I just again, he's not going to be a factor in it. It's not his event right now.
Yeah.
The men's marathoner in the world who I would be interested in running a 10K, who I would tune in especially for, would be Eliud Kipchoge. That's him. That's
Yeah.
like the list. On the women's
That's the
side,
list.
there'd be more because obviously I'd love to see, Sisson
Mo Farah,
is
he's a
good in both.
marathoner now.
Okay, 2, you got me. But I don't really I consider him fully back on the track now. But that's the extent of the people
Nice
who
list.
I'm all in. Yeah, there's so many good 10,000 meter runners. You focus on that, or 5,000, 10,000 runners. You don't need to do that. I don't think he's gonna end up running it, but in any event, I guess that's it. We'll leave it there. There's more to talk about tomorrow on this stuff. You know what we should do? Actually, we shouldn't do this because this is tempting fate. We should look, and this would be a very easy exercise to do because you just literally look at the top 3 times. Who would be on the Olympic team with a contingency plan? And look at some of these crazy teams that would come up for the U.S.
We can do that tomorrow.
Right? Because
we'll do that fun. Yeah.
Right, because like you wouldn't know. A lot of times most track fans are pretty sophisticated, and they know, okay, well, just because that person's ranked 7th, like they're good to go. But like right now, for example, this would be, hold on, let me just tease this before we go. Fred Curley would be on the 100-meter team.